Hi, I'm Debbie Ridpath Oe, and just like yesterday, I am going to do a camera drawing. I'm camera drawing, crayon drawing. But yesterday, I could not see any of my comments. And so this way, I think it's going to work. I would really appreciate, I know Michelle is out there, Michelle Pendleton. If anyone's watching this, could you please post a comment so this time, yes, okay. Excellent, thank you. So Michelle just posted from Twitter. I can see comments from Twitter. So if anyone's on Facebook or YouTube, I would love for you to post a comment, and that way I know that it will work. So let's see if I can add Michelle's. Yes, and Michelle's can, oh, why is it purple? That's interesting. I wonder if that's something I chose. Oh, thank you, Michelle. This is great. Excellent. So now I could see, remove from broadcast, add. I can see Michelle's comment from Twitter and Facebook, so that's working. So if anyone's on YouTube, please let me know. And that way I know. And, oh, Riley, yes. Yay, YouTube. Riley is drawing along with me, which makes me happy. If anyone missed Riley's live stream with me when I was drawing with friends, the archive video is on Facebook and on YouTube. Okay, so I'm going to try this again. So, excuse me, I love drawing with crayons, as a lot of you already know. I'm just going to draw. You could draw with anything you want. And I am going to try to answer some questions as I draw. What I'm going to do, oh good, and someone's from Argentina is here as well. Add to broadcast, excellent. Okay, I'm not sure why it's appearing in purple. I wonder if it's because that's the color I chose. I will figure that out later. Okay, so this is the kind of thing that I have been making for my publisher and for giving away as prizes because I'm so excited about Gerpel and Preen, a Broken Crayon Cosmic Adventure, which is coming out from Linda Sue Park and me and Simon Schuster in August. And so I've been breaking a lot of crayons. So I am going to just draw, and you feel free to draw along with me. So okay, just in case you have missed what I've talked about before, this is what I use Sargent Art crayon sharpener. Actually, I think you can sharpen all kinds of things, but this works with my super large crayons and my normal crayons. And one of the reasons I'm starting to draw with crayons more, and oh, look at my fading. Sorry, I'm using a green screen, and I just noticed something. Okay, here's what my green screen looks like behind me. Oh, well, that's okay. Your focus is on the crayons. Sometimes I can use crayons like this. Notice that it's not very sharp, but I find I enjoy drawing more with sharper crayons. And I'm using my new lighting setup, which I made yesterday. It's a ring light made from, you know what, can I show you? I'm going to switch briefly to here and show you. This is my lighting setup that I made, you can see from the top, from a piece of styrofoam cut into a ring, and I use LED lights, strip lighting. And you could find the YouTube video. I described all my gear I'm using, links to where I found all the materials, plus the resources I used online on my YouTube channel. Okay, so let's just switch back to overhead. And what am I going to draw? I'm going to draw a dragon, I think. I like dragons. And I will check comments sometimes, especially now that I know that's working. Yay! So feel free to ask me questions. But I'm not going to constantly check, because I found when I don't pay enough attention to my art, then I don't enjoy drawing as much. This one's very crumbly. And I'm going to zoom in a little bit. case anyone's wondering about my software I'm using Ecamm Live, which I love. Oh, and I just noticed I have my Gerpel and preen cover way too close there. Just have that in the corner. All right, that's better. And I'm going to lock that for now so I don't accidentally change it. See, I'm gradually learning more about what works for me live streaming. One is that live streaming, you can never tell what's going to happen. Oh, and I just locked it, so it's not changing. There, a bit brighter now. Okay. With live streaming, I have tried. I really appreciate all your patience because I know I'm making a lot of mistakes, but I find that the only way I can learn how to live stream is by live streaming. There's no way that I can do all the research. You know, I'm going to put someone on the back. I can do all the research that I want to ahead of time about live. There's so much great information online, but in the end, the only way I could figure out what to do is to actually live stream and make all those mistakes. And as I mentioned in my previous videos, I'm not fond of how I look and sound on camera, but in these days, it's one of the ways I can connect with young readers and educators is through live streaming and online presentations. And so I figure right now we're all trying to find our way in this very strange and surreal time. And so I know come September, more schools will know what's happening, and so I might as well get practice now as well. All right, so she's going to, you know what? She's going to have a cape on because it's cold as you're flying. Zoomed in a bit. And if you have any questions about anything, it doesn't have to be about my Kidlit books. Feel free to let me know. And I will try to answer if I can. And if I want to, of course. Thank you so much, Marcia. So Marcia just said she appreciates that I'm taking chances and making mistakes. Thank you. But one thing I have found, and I try to tell young creators this as well, you know, if you're not making mistakes, it means you're not taking chances and you're not stepping out of your comfort zone. And I'm a big believer, as some of you already know, in trying to step out of my comfort zone on a regular basis, because each time I do, I may fail spectacularly, which I have, as some of you have seen. But each time I succeed, my comfort zone gets a little bit larger, and that's good. And I learn from every failure. And of course, it's embarrassing sometimes if we make mistakes, and there are some people who are less than kind if we make mistakes, but I find it's all worth it. Okay, so the reason I'm doing this is I actually forgot I was going to make this coming out of a broken crayon. So this can be coming out of this. But oh, you know what? I cannot. Oh, you know what? I will turn this into a prize giveaway because I can glue this on and I can. But from now on, I'm going to do another one. Toss. I have actually been doing my prize giveaways on these, and I got these from clearbags.ca, which is a fantastic company. And originally I was using them just as inserts when I do my little sketches, but I found these are actually really good for my broken crayon things. Okay, so let's use blue. Oh, so Michelle just said that she's drawing and her crayon just broke. This time I'm going to do it this way. What should I make coming out of a broken crayon? As I've mentioned before, I find drawing with crayons immensely therapeutic and relaxing. Like, look at that texture. I love this. And I love that crayons are so affordable. And no, Crayola is not sponsoring me at all. But I love Crayola, and they have featured some of my art on their streams. Okay. So she is going to be, you know what? I'm going to make her hugging some books because, especially these days, I find books and reading very comforting. So I'd love to hear if any of you are reading books you enjoy, what you're all reading, and what you're enjoying, or if there are any books you think should get more attention these days, or books you can recommend, or feel free to ask me about my art and my process or live streaming hobbies. Okay, let's see. So Michelle asked, do you buy your crayons when it's back to school time, and are they inexpensive? You know, it's a good question. I actually, how many boxes of crayons do you go through in a year? I bought my crayons ages back, and I bought the big containers of, I think, 800 at a time. I'm looking this way because that's where. And I got the large crayons, and I also got the smaller crayons, and I also went overboard, and because I knew I was working more with Mocha crayons and Gerpel and Preen. And then Crayola sent me a whole bunch of crayons as well, which made me so happy. So my office is full of crayons right now. But I find that crayons are so affordable. Okay, so there's one of them. You know, I'm going to shade this. Oh, and let's see. My friend Allison, notice her user icon. I did that years ago. She's reading Robert Sawyer's latest. What's the name of that? And Marcia is, our friend Hedgehog. I love that book as well. Okay, second. Should do some drawing. You know, and sometimes I like adding different shades. So here, I'm going to show you guys here's where I keep, I know it's a lot of, I mean, these are only some of my crayons. Oops, I opened it the wrong way. I find this is handy for when I'm choosing more purple crayons. Oh, and you notice some of these crayons have like not the wavy line. It's because these are the crayons I actually used in Gerpel and Preen. I had to remove the Crayola branding, so I colored these in. I photographed the crayons, and then in Photoshop I removed. Took a long time. And I hired my friend Russ Cox to do some of the crayons in the beginning, but then I realized there's no way I can afford to hire him for more than a handful of crayons. So, but yeah, any of these, you know, I should use some of these for my not yellow's harder to see. I'll do purple and this and black and blue. All right, and some green. Let's do a large one. And that box I think I got from a craft store somewhere. All right, so let's add a bit of purple to this because I like working with different shades. So yay, I just saw a comment from Riley. She says, wow. Thank you so much, Riley, for helping me with my Drawing with Friends live streaming. We'll have to do that again because that was fun. All right. So then what I do is I have these little, and any author and illustrator creators, what I do is I printed these out and I signed them in shiny pen. Actually, I signed some of them in shiny pen. Then, let's see. I glue it onto the back of every drawing, and I'm using Aleene's acid-free tacky glue. And I try to remember to do this before I glue the crayon because it's harder. And then I will break the crayon. More glue. Oh, and Allison responded to my question about which Robert Sawyer book she's reading, and she says the Oppenheimer alternative. I'll have to check that out. I love Robert Sawyer's books. In fact, Allison is not only a friend of mine, but also she's a school teacher, newly retired, and we're also in the same music group together. And we used to perform at science fiction and film conventions, and one of them, Robert Sawyer, was a guest. Okay, here's another one. I'm happy with that turned out. See, I like how adding a little bit of extra color adds something. Okay. See, this is great because I want to do many, many of these, and so why not live stream at the same time? All right, what color should I do next? I usually try to opt for crayons that are easier to see. I like yellow and stuff, but I would need to get black paper. Crayons are so great. So, okay, and I am seeing, yes, I'm seeing comments. This time I'm using Ecamm Live, but I'm using Restream to stream to YouTube and Facebook, my Facebook Author Illustrator page, and Periscope, which also streams to Twitter. So all three platforms at once, and I am seeing comments from everybody, so that's awesome. So it is working. Oh, and Marcia said she spent all day yesterday using markers, turning it into watercolor. Art therapy, I am a big believer in art therapy because it's just, and everyone can draw, okay? Do not tell me you can't draw, because anyone who has seen my, let's see, what should I draw here? Anyone who has seen my Waiting for Fredo webcomic will see how much my style continues to change. I have found that, for me anyway, and I do find this applies to picture book illustrations, I find you may have the most wonderful and of course there's always exceptions, wonderful technique in the world, but if you're not connecting with your audience, with your readers, then you have to ask, which is more important? But meanwhile, I'm not saying technique's not important, but it was a comfort to me because I don't have, one of those award-winning, beautiful, painterly styles. So in the beginning, I thought, oh, I can't really draw. But you know what? Everyone can draw, and everyone can connect with young readers. I think a lot of it has to do with the emotion you put into your art and the intent. And also, if you're working with amazing, wonderful text and a story, like for example with Gerpel and Preen, written by Linda Sue Park, that also helps. Let's not make that fall over. Okay, so was I working with this? So here she's going to be. And sometimes I work to music and other times not. Right now, I would have music on, but I know there are copyright issues. And I did a brief search on Epidemic Sound is where I get my music because I know I can use it. But all the music snippets are very short, and I don't want to keep looping because that would drive everybody crazy, including me. So she's very content. She looks a bit smug. So maybe she has just discovered some amazing book that she says, oh my gosh, I can't wait to tell my friends about this book. What color is this? This is red violet. All right, before I forget, do the label on the back. Ashley, thank you so much. Beckett! Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. This is great. So, my friend Beckett, Becca Gladney. Check out her website, which is artbecco.com. She was actually my friend who helped convince me to enter the very first portfolio showcase at SCB, the Society of Children's Book Writer and Illustrators Summer Conference in 2010. She helped me put together my very first portfolio because I was really depressed because I had entered the manuscript critique program and I was rejected. It was my fault for not reading the rules because I had. Anyway, she helped me put together my very first portfolio, and that's the portfolio that ended up getting the attention of Simon and Schuster and other. Just like that began my career. So that's something else I always tell kids when I tell them about what happened to me is you want to surround yourself with friends who are supportive of you. You know, not the kind of friend who pretends to be supportive and then really isn't, but are truly supportive, because so I'm always so grateful to her. And I haven't been in touch with her in ages. So I did, this is from my friend Beckett. I did send you a message in Slack. I'm not sure if you saw that. Maybe I should email you or try calling you, but I want to catch up soon. Okay, there. All right. This is how much time we have left. I only wanted to go. Oh, we're almost out of time. So, any questions? Oh, thank you so much, Lindsay. Thanks. And Marcia said it's good to draw the same character and shape over and over again. Yes, I totally agree. I have to figure out why. Oh, my face looks very strange with the. I agree. That's one way I do a lot of character. Oh, that's something I'm constantly learning. So here, what I'll do, like for character studies for Gerpel and Preen, I did so many robots. Oh, you know what? Here's an early top net. This is an early sketch. These are early sketches for the Gerpel and Preen cover. Why do I have this just within? But look, see, you guys are the first to see this. So these are some cover ideas I had. But yes, for robots, for example, I experimented with squares and all different shapes for robots. Like, I spent so much time, but it's so worth it because once you pick a character, you're kind of locked into that character for the whole picture book. So square, I had some of my early sketches had sort of, it looks like a, I don't know, had some square-headed robots, but there are already, I also had to be careful not to be too close to the robots out there, but there's only a limited number of robot head shapes. So in the end, I decided to, here, I'll show you. So for Gerpel and Preen, I kind of like the rounded shape, and I have to confess, part of the reason I leaned in the end toward rounded, it's a bit easier to show from different perspectives, and because for square, I don't know, it's not as interesting from behind, but here, I don't know, I just felt good. I opted because Linda Sue had in her text, where is it? Yes, in her text, she said, Gerpel's eyes lit up one by one by one. That told me, okay, it needs whatever character is needs 3 eyes. So I started experimenting with robots with 3 eyes, and some of my early ones would have three eyes on top, which is a possibility, but I end up, you know what? I just want 2 eyes and then have a 3rd eye on the chest, and that seemed to work out. Okay, any other questions? Is she a ghost girl? I am here for that. Oh, a ghost girl. I hadn't planned that, but my last one, I will do a ghost girl. And if there's any last questions, I'll do this for 5 minutes. Oh, and Michelle asked me, other picture book illustrators said that they do not talk with the writer. Did that happen with this? These are all good questions. So first I'm going to start working on the ghost girl. Let's see. I'm going to make her swimming up. With Linda Sue, it was very interesting. You know, she's going to be kind of like this. She's going to, I like drawing characters that are sort of, meditating, peaceful, because it makes me feel like that when I'm drawing. With Linda Sue, we talked a lot in the beginning because Linda Sue wrote the text first, and we sort of collaborated a little bit in terms of not on the text, but her idea, and she asked me if I liked it or not. She was really very kind to agree to write the text, and then we pitched it to my editor. But then once we had the contract, we purposely kept apart. So she worked with our editor, Justin Chanda at Simon & Schuster, and I worked with Laurent Lynn on the art. And I kind of preferred this because that way I didn't have to feel intimidated. Not that she would intimidate me or anything, and she probably preferred this too. I think I like how this works because that way I feel that I could concentrate totally on my art and be as creative as I want without worrying about the author. Now, at some point, like for example, with I'm Worried, which is written by Michael Leon Black and illustrated, and it came out last year, I will actually reach out to the author sometimes. So, for example, with I'm Worried, there was one spread where we're talking about, you're worried about potato, you're worried about what? And so I did a whole spread of all the different things that Potato's worried about, and I had some ideas, but I love Michael's manuscripts. There's no art notes, just let me go nuts. And I said, do you have any ideas about what you want on this? And I don't always, but there's a certain trust I have with my authors. So he came up with, I can't remember what he came up with. It was very much a collaboration. I wanted to put clowns in. Of course, I wanted to put squirrels in because I worry a lot about squirrels. But that's a long and rambling answer. I could just talk for a whole hour about the picture book process. But I want to finish this girl. And she's, you know what? She has a story, which she's reading. She could be reading this story. She's reading her own story. And she looks kind of sad. And I don't know why. But that's something else when I'm just free-form drawing. I like just putting an emotion into the character without knowing why, and then trying to think about later, why is that character looking mad or sad or whatever. And that's something I love talking to kids about, young creators, because they have their such great imaginations, and they have ideas about why the potato is worried and why the girl's looking a bit melancholy. So maybe she just read something in the book. No, I don't want it all. I want a little bit of color, so I'm going to add there. So I think we're going to end now, but I really appreciate you guys helping me test. Oh, see, there's glue here. This was obviously used in the making of. I wonder if people would mind if there was a bit glue. You know what? So a lot of the crayons I used in the illustrations and the photography of Linda Gerpel and Preen with Linda Sue Park. I reuse a lot of them for these. So this glue was because, I'm not going to hide the glue there, was because I made a lot of crayon sculptures and photographed them because there were piles and piles of crayons, and if I didn't glue them, they would roll all over the place. Oh, and of course, I glued the crayon on before I put this. That's okay. Okay, so like Linda Sue Park. Yes. Okay, you were asking about Linda Sue Park. So with Linda Sue Park, I did not have much interaction during the book, but there were a couple instances where we did consult with each other as well, and I'll be writing about those later. And I think that's all the questions so far. Thank you so much. So this actually went pretty well. I really appreciate those of you who ask questions or help me test out. I'm going to try to do this live stream drawing pretty often because I find it very relaxing and not having the camera just on me. Plus, look at my head's really tiny, so you really can't tell if I brush my hair or not. And the focus is on the art. So I am going to do, I've been looking for my sweet spot in live streaming, and I think I really like this. And hopefully in the future, I could have other artists of all different ages on with me because I really like that interaction. And if those of you who missed seeing my drawing with friends with 9-year-old Riley should check either my author illustrator Facebook page or my YouTube channel because she is pretty awesome and she had some great ideas for books that young people could be reading this summer. Thank you very much for coming, and I hope you have all a great week. Bye-bye.